Hi everyone, it's Karen here and welcome back to my channel. I'm really excited to be part of the second art journaling YouTube hop along many of my artsy friends who decided to participate with me today. We have an amazing lineup of sponsors and so many prizes to give away, so stay tuned till the end of this video to find out how you can win. All the products and links are listed below in the description area. I created an art journal page and I use the Joggles 6x9 watercolor art journal. I love these journals because you can remove the pages and create anything you want on them while the paper is off the hinges. The pages are connected with some plastic discs. This is why it's called the disc-bound watercolor journal. For the background, I use Stamperia rice paper and I cut out the elements from the paper so I could create a collage in the background. This rice paper is unbelievable. And I will list a bunch of these below because they're just amazing to have for any type of background. I wanted to cover the whole background, but at the same time I wanted to keep the moth or the butterfly intact. So I cut around the moth itself to keep it as an embellishment. And then I used the rest of the papers to cover the background. Now I could have used a larger art journal if I wanted to, but I really love the size of this art journal, so I wanted to make the images fit in the background. I felt that if I use a bigger one, then I'm basically not doing anything, and I love collaging. If I was just using them in the size that the paper comes in, then all I'm doing is just gluing it to the background without doing much. So I really wanted to do something more fun and collage some of the images in the way that I like it. So all the leftover images that I had cut out from around the butterfly and also from the other pieces of paper, I decided to keep and use as collage mediums. To glue the collage pieces, I wanted to use something very liquidy. So I took my Liquitex matte medium, which is a very fluid gel-like medium, and I used it to glue everything to the background. I started by pouring a little bit on the page and then using a paintbrush just spread it across the background. Then I started applying the papers to the background, and I didn't care that I was covering the slits where the discs go because I knew I could cut this afterwards. So I took the different papers and I would stick them to the sticky glued background, and then I would use the same gel to just seal them on top of the paper. These paper are so thin, almost like tissue paper, but they're made out of rice and they're a little bit translucent, which make it perfect for this effect. So all I did is just fill in all the white parts of the background until everything was covered. And you have to make sure that you're sealing it as well, because when you're adding the mediums afterwards, you want to make sure the paper doesn't rip. This is like a decoupage technique, and you can definitely use gel medium or Mod Podge for it as well. Once I covered the background, I still had a piece of rice paper that I didn't know where to do with, but I knew that I would have to use it for the background. It was a half moon clock, so all I did is just stick it at the bottom and then seal it with the same glue. Then I went around the paper and cut all the leftover pieces so it would remain straight. To cut them though, I had to heat set the background really well so it wouldn't be wet when I'm using it with the scissors. I also cut all the little slits at the top so I could easily put back inside the disc-bound journal. For the moth, I really wanted it to be a 3D effect. So I took some craft foam in the beige color and I traced the moth all around using a pencil. Then I took my scissors and just cut around the traced area. That way I could use it to create a 3D effect underneath the moth, and it would stick out from the background paper. I used the same matte medium as before to glue the moth onto the craft foam, so that way it would dry up until I was able to use it on my background. I also used the gel to seal the moth to the background to make sure that it doesn't get ruined when I add all the other mediums. For the background underneath the moth, I wanted to create a little bit of a rusted background, and I decided to take the Prima Finnabair rust pastes to do this. I also wanted to create a nice rusty edge to the whole journal. So between the edges and also underneath the moth, I decided to add the different rust paste. I started with the dark brown, which is really nice to put underneath. And I used a little bit of water to diffuse it, both at the edges and also afterwards underneath the moth. I started with the edges just because I really love framing my art journals. I always find that they look better when they're framed. And adding water just helped diffuse everything towards the center. I placed the moth in the middle where I wanted it to be, and then I started adding the rust paste underneath it by lifting it up carefully and putting it only at the edges. I didn't glue the moth until I was happy with the colors because I really wanted to create a shadow underneath it. Then I sprayed a little bit of water and just let it diffuse. That way it would create a really nice texture underneath and create a shadow for the moth. Then, to make it look more oxidized, I took some of the red rust paste and added some of it as well to the edges and also underneath the moth as well. Now I already had the outline of the moth, so I didn't have to put it back on and check if it was the right outline or the right color going underneath. All I did is just dab a little bit of the red color, and then I went back again with my water spray bottle and just let the two colors diffuse together. If you add too much water or too much color, you can always use a baby wipe to just wipe off the excess. Now I thought it would be nice to add a little bit of a patina color. This is the turquoise color from the Patina Rust Effect paste. And I wanted to add a little bit of this color because I wanted it to look a little bit more rusty. And also I wanted to break the monotonous color that was in the background. So I had added a lot of browns and reds. So adding a little bit of that patina color really broke the pattern a little bit and made it look so much more oxidized, which is what I was looking for to do. It really helped bring out more color into the background, and I really love the patina effect, so that was perfect for this background. I also took the dark brown and added a little bit of the paste around the edges of the moth to create a little bit of a dark outline around it and make it look more like a shadow. This really helped to have the moth stick out from the background and have more depth. I heat set the background a little bit because it was too wet and I really wanted to add more to it, but I knew that if I didn't heat set it, it would become a big mess. The last color that I added is the golden yellow. It also comes with the brown and red rust paste, and it really helps to bring some light and highlights to the background. When it's mixed with the patina color, it makes a beautiful greenish color which looks even more like a patina effect. And I just added it very little bit in some areas just to highlight the background. I heat set everything really well, and once everything was dry, I took some Prima Finnabair Art Basics Soft Matte Gel and went ahead and glued the butterfly to the background. All I did is use a paintbrush and added it everywhere so it would stick really well to the background. The nice thing about it is that even though it's 3D and it has craft foam behind it, it is still flat enough that it fits perfectly in an art journal page. Although the pattern in the background was very busy, I still felt like it needed something to tie it all in. So I took my black archival ink and a script stamp and started stamping it in different areas around the background to tie in the vintage theme. I really love adding stamping elements to certain backgrounds, especially when it helps to tie it all in. Then I took 3 words that say Capture the Magic from the Tim Holtz Ideology word set, and using my Fude black marker, I outlined the words and I also outlined the edges of the moth. I went all around and created an outline around it, and this helped to bring out the depth even more. This marker by Ranger is really great for any type of art journaling or mixed media art journaling because it really goes on any type of surface. And I'll link that below so you can see what I mean. And what I did is I started creating these really nice borders around the edges of my art journal. I was just doodling and started creating lines just so it would kind of create a nice rectangular border around. And I was trying to be as loose as possible in terms of the lines. I didn't want them to be exact. I really wanted them to be uneven because it makes it look more realistic and more distressed. And then I started adding lines, even not in the borders, just to kind of frame things. So I started adding lines in certain areas, even in the middle of the page, because I really wanted to have some more distressed looking elements in the background. Finally, to tie it all in, I took a little bit of the white impasto paint, and I apologize that I actually put it on the side of my mat where you can't actually see it. But I took some white impasto paint and I diluted it with water. I made a very liquidy solution. And then I took a paintbrush and started splattering in the background. This really tied it all in because it really helped to create a distressed look. Once I dried everything and heat set it, I went ahead and put it back inside my art journal, which was really easy to pop back in. The list of all the videos and sponsors is listed below in the description area. Hop on to the next video either at the end of this video or press the link in the description area below. We want to thank all our sponsors, and if you want to enter the giveaway, all you have to do is be a subscriber to each one of the channels on this hop today, and also leave a comment in each one of the videos. Winners will be chosen at random from different videos, so you must leave a comment in each one of the videos to win. Giveaway is open internationally, and you have a week to enter from today. The winners will be announced on Facebook, here on YouTube, in my community tab, and also on my blog. All the rules on how to win are below in the description area. Thank you so much for watching, and here is the next video to hop to. Bye!